For this Iowa Conference duel against the number 1 ranked Wartburg Knights. We'll welcome in the number 17th ranked Coe Hawks in this conference duel. I also got to mention it's senior night. I'm Tyler Metcalf. Alongside me, Matt Groomer. We'll be giving you all the action tonight. The last matchup with these two teams came on January 9th at the IWCA duels, where Wartburg defeated Coe 31-6, and Coe's only 2 victories coming from their only 2 ranked wrestlers as well, being Farai Sarawa and Ryan Harrington, beating Andrew Steyer and Brandon Welter, both of them winning 3-2 over Steyer and Welter. And then this past Saturday, Wartburg hosted the Iowa Conference duels and just swept the competition in dominating fashion, beating Buena Vista 44-7, which featured some new faces in the lineup, and then defeating Central 44-0, finally beating Dubuque 34-4. And in a video we'll see later with Coach Keller, thanks to Benna for that, Coach Keller really challenged his guys and pushed his guys to be ready and be ready to go right away, and just challenged them to be better than what they have been. So Coe comes in tonight with a tough task to take down these red-hot Knights.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Tyler. And the really big key, the motto for this team for Wartburg is win the next one. Win the next one. That was instilled by the former head coach Jim Miller a few seasons ago, and they have every belief that they're going to do that tonight. The tough task, you mentioned that 31-6 loss earlier in the season. Both rosters, it seems like, as we saw with the Iowa Conference duels this past weekend, they've kind of been shifted a little bit. They've been shaken up, especially with the Knights this past weekend. We've seen how versatile and deep they are. And for Coe, back on that about a month ago when they did lose to the Knights 31-6, they had some roster issues as well, but it looks like tonight, based on who they've got set out here, it's going to be as competitive as all these fans hope it will be. Yeah, and
you look at Wartburg from their standpoint, they have 9 ranked wrestlers, just one wrestler not being ranked, that being Kazona, who was previously ranked. And then for Coe, only 2 ranked wrestlers, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, just because the rankings may not swing in the favor of Coe. Still expect a good matchup tonight throughout, every match.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about it. You look at the series of the last few years in the Iowa Conference, it's come down to these 2 squads warming up right now. Coe and Wartburg have been the dominant 2, the top tier of the Iowa Conference, which again is arguably the best conference in all of Division III wrestling. And for these 2 programs to do so well, I think it speaks for itself. But 2 things really, 2 storylines tonight. One, you already mentioned, senior night for the Knights, a bundle of them here, going to be wrestling their last time here at Levick Arena. And then for the Coe Hawks, for them to be second and so close to defeating the Knights just year after year, it seems, and coming up to Levick, it's always 1 versus 2, and they seem to just be getting the short hand of the stick every year. I think that's going to play into tonight and how much bad blood is between these 2 teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned how close Coe has been over the past couple of years. I believe their highest finish nationally was 4th under their head coach, who's done a great job
at
making them very successful. So, we expect a good one tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, you talk about Coach Keller, who we'll get to in just a second. He's had such a big impact on this team coming into tonight.
We'll send it to a video for Coach Keller.
Coach, senior Ben Nagel has a team best 21 wins and has a winning streak of 19. What have you seen from him this season?
Consistency. That guy just, obviously the way he's been performing out on the mat, but what he brings into the room every day, it's consistent, and he comes in focused on a mission to get better every single day. And he's leading our team. He's the leader of this team, and it's not a vocal way of leading, it's just by what he does every single day. And guys have taken note of that. And I think that's more powerful anyways, when you got a guy that walks the walk and does all the right things and, doesn't hurt that he's the heavyweight, so everybody's going to listen anyways. But no, he's leading this team right now, and the work that he's put in the last couple of years, yeah, he was behind Fank, but he didn't view it as time off. He viewed it as, I got to get better right now, so when I get my opportunity, I'm ready to go. And I think you're seeing that. All the work that he's put in the last couple of years and the work that he's putting in, he's put a lot of work in with Coach Ortner, and that guy's one of the best big guy coaches in the nation, and he's working with that guy. And so all that stuff is starting to kind of come to fruition, and you're seeing it out in the mat.
Friday, you host Coe in the Iowa Conference Championship, as we can see all the banners behind us. What do you tell the team on that banner day?
It's a history lesson, and we had Coach Miller come down. Who tells the story better than him? He's been here this whole time. He's been through every one of those. And but the message is this, it's bigger than you. Each one of those banners that's up there had to be won, had to be fought for, and each one had a different path to get it done. But the thing that remained the same was the group took it upon themselves to get it done, and it's this group's turn. And this group has embraced that all year long. They've looked forward to that, but to get what we want, we got to be prepared to go these next 2 duels to get that, and so the message is hold the rope. That's what we always talk about, holding the rope. And it's this group's turn to hold the rope, and they're fired up about that opportunity.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Wartburg Football Halftime Show, sponsored by Waverly Subway.
You're an active person. You always want the best from your body, and when an injury slows you down, you turn to the best. At the Waverly Health Center Orthopedic Clinic, Dr. Linda Martin, nurse practitioner Carrie Van E, and the Health Center team offer cutting-edge technology and personal patient-centered care. Knee and hip injuries, muscle strains and tears, no matter what sidelines you. Let our team get you back in the game. Waverly Health Center. We make a difference you can feel.
Welcome back to Night Vision. Now we'll send it over to a quick pack done by Luke Benna.
That was really awkward.
How is a successful man defined? Is he defined by how many national championships are brought home? Or is he defined by the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that are spilt in a season? Or is it as simple as deciding to wake up in the morning and make that decision to not only make yourself better, but also to push the people around you to want success? Taking these simple concepts and turning them into reality requires a different type of person. A person with high intensity and high energy that is willing to lead his team to victory. A person that never gives up on his passion for not only the sport of wrestling, but also as his role as coach.
He's a coach of a program that's won so many national titles. He's great at motivating guys and just, I'd say, bringing out the best in them.
You definitely know when you come in that Keller's a man. It's just cool to be around someone who knows that much about the sport and can teach you.
I mean, coaching for me is just about seeing guys get their dream, and that's what I love about it. It's a passion for me. It's never ever been something that I've viewed as a job. I mean, I come here and I get to help guys, on and off the mat, and that's my passion, and that's what I love to do. And really, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing guys get their dream. Dude, you had the best week this week that you've had all year. Seriously, you are right here, man. Carry that over today.
Well, I've been wrestling for a long time, so I've had a lot of coaches, and I can definitely say he's at the top. His experiences and his just philosophy, it just gives him that great coach feeling, when you're around him. So.
Somebody calling you out, big boy? Somebody staring at you down? What's going on? Me? Somebody messing with you? Let's make that statement. Let's do what we were talking about. Every guy. Get us started here, man. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Champs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Let's get it, Pop.
Keller definitely has more energy than any other coach I've ever met. He's there for you at practice. He'll help you out one-on-one every day. If you need something, he'll be there for you. If you might have an off day, he might shoot you a text that night and see what's going on.
One match. Freaking sell out, man.
The guy just has an energy level that everyone loves. That's the reason why I came here, It's just one of those things that kind of just pulls you in. It's looking over there in the corner and seeing someone, that you can trust. But yeah, that guy, the one thing is, man, that guy can go. He just, I don't know. It's all the coffee he drinks.
Honestly, Coach, when he's drinking coffee, It kind of reminds me of the little squirrel off of Over the Ledge. The squirrels are always like, they're already like moving and like energetic, but then once he gets the coffee in him, it's just like a whole nother level. He just turns it up. It's just a different Keller when he drinks coffee.
You know, I think if he stopped drinking coffee, he wouldn't make it to practice.
Don't hurt your wrist. Is that bad hand? Nah. You don't have a bad hand. Yeah. You don't have a bad hand. I ain't got a bad hand, Coach.
I'd say crazy. To be a coach, you got to have so many different personalities, and it's not easy to do. And to want to be a coach of a wrestling team that has so much pressure, like I said earlier, like that takes a different individual.
If it could, that guy would be out there wrestling with us, you know? He would strap on a singlet and go out there. There's a couple times I think he's going to run on the mat and just stop the whole match and be like, okay, you got to do this.
Absolutely, I miss being out there. You know how many times I want to climb out of that chair and get out on that mat? I mean,
get your foot in the armpit!
every meet, you know, at least some point in the meet, you know. That's probably the hardest thing there is, because until I finally shut my mind off, at some point when I run out of steam and go to sleep, my mind's still racing and I'm still at that level. I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is, man. That's the honest truth.
It's time for us to have it down to a science. You know exactly what you do every single time to be at your best. Don't leave anything to chance, man. You work too damn hard to leave anything to chance. Be ready to go every single time. All right? Good job on that first one, man. Let's roll. Let's roll on this next one. Let's do this. Fight on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fight.
I'll be upstairs making coffee.
Welcome back to Night Vision here. Tyler Metcalf, Matt Groomer giving you all the calls tonight. And as you can see, senior night is going on as they honor those guys. But up here, we will get into the matches of the night. And starting off for that is the 165-pound competition. Andrew Steyer will go up against Farai Sawara. Sawara again beat Steyer earlier on in the year. And then looking on to 175, Brandon Welter against Ryan Harrington. And again, Harrington defeated Welter earlier on this year as well.
Yeah, we talked about bad blood between both these teams. So those two weight classes are going to be unquestionably, easily, no doubt about it, the matches to watch tonight. Steyer, just a sophomore. It's unbelievable how much growth he's had. And then you look at Sawara, the junior, being ranked second in the nation. He's been up in that top 5 tier, not only this year, but last year as well. A lot of experience under his belt. We'll look and see if that takes into effect tonight. And then, you look at the weight class above that. Welter, a senior. Harrington, just a sophomore, a young guy from New Jersey out east, but he's had a lot of success here in the Iowa Conference, especially against Brandon Welter. And, with that experience against a young guy like that, a sophomore, it's going to be very fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, and Steyer, I'm excited. He didn't wrestle against Buena Vista during these Iowa Conference duels, and I didn't get to see if he wrestled later, but I haven't seen him wrestle in quite some time, so I'm excited to see him wrestle tonight, especially against good competition.
Yeah, you bet. There's a lot of young guys, up and down, especially for the Cohawks, and really for this Knights team if you've been following them all year. A lot of guys to replace on their roster, more so for the Knights coming in. An incredible story if this is your first time joining us. The Knights unranked to begin the season and now number 1 in the nation. The Cohawks were actually a top 10 team to begin the year, and now obviously number 17 after falling to Luther. And obviously we know they're a team that the Knights handled pretty well at home here early on in the year.
Yeah, and you mentioned not being ranked at the beginning of the year. Wartburg wasn't, and it's incredible why they weren't. Obviously they lost a lot of seniors, but they felt kind of disrespected, and they've come out and they've proven that they belong in that number 1 spot, and they've done a good job throughout this year, battling every meet, every duel, and just doing a great job.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And one thing that we should, we'll echo it throughout the broadcast tonight, but these seniors for this Knights team, although not all of them in the starting lineup role tonight up and down the weight classes, but, so many mean so much to this team. And, if you watch the Iowa Conference duels, that depth on the roster really showcased itself on Saturday. Buena Vista, Central, and Dubuque right here at Levick Arena. They performed very well, and, a bunch of these guys wrestle underneath other guys who get that starting role. And one thing, this team does so well, they don't glorify one person. Although they have 2 or 3 guys at each weight class, they respect each other. And again, although you may not be starting tonight in the on the mat, you have the same amount of respect for the rest of the team.
Yeah, and again, if this isn't your first time joining us, then you have heard us say it before, that everybody in that wrestling room, day in and day out throughout practice, is worthy on this team. And whether you're in that starting lineup or not, senior or not, you're going to be ready to battle every day, and that's exactly what they do. And that's why they've been so successful over the past how many years.
Well, yeah, and you look at the guys getting honored down there. I'm a senior myself, so I've seen these guys really grow, from their freshman year and now being a senior in the spotlight, and deservedly so. They performed very well, and we saw some of those guys this weekend. Some out-of-state guys. Dakota Bosch from Louisiana had a great victory this past weekend. Jake Agnich, one of the guys that I have coined kind of a leader for this team. And you look at the coach right there on your screen, the former head coach Jim Miller, a big reason for a lot of these seniors and their success, and that's why he's in the stands tonight.
Yeah, and you just see Eric Keller there just kind of giving a little talk to his team as well and thanking them, the seniors. So we'll take a quick little time out here, and then we'll be right back on Night Vision.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
We need more space. Let's visit Security State Bank and talk about a new home loan. That's a good idea.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Joel.
Hi, Nicole.
Hello.
We're here to talk about a new home loan.
Wonderful. Right this way.
Security State Bank is ready to assist you with all your banking needs. Bank locally at one of our 3 locations in Waverly, Shell Rock, or Springville today, or visit us online.
Welcome back to Night Vision here, and again, the seniors just being honored on senior night. We take a look up and down the roster for those seniors. Jake Agnich out of Ames, Dakota Bosch out of Louisiana, and again, we mentioned a couple times how a lot of out-of-state guys. Braxton Chikeli from Cedar Rapids, Jamie Gray from Battle Creek, Nebraska, Stephen Klemenikis from Louisiana as well, Mark Pinero, another one from Louisiana, St. Rose, and finally Brandon Welter from Don Bosco, Gilbertville. So again, thanks to these seniors for what they've done throughout this program these 4 years.
No doubt about it. You see the fans on their feet on the opposite side here in Levick Arena showing their love for the black and orange tonight, and deservedly so. And for the Cohawks, as is usual here the past few years, traveling in numbers to root on their squad as well. Number 2 in the Iowa Conference. Always a top, we've mentioned, always a top 25 team, and really here in the Iowa Conference, just a performer year in and year out. Although falling to Luther 20-16, should be a competitive night.
And now we'll step aside real quick for the national anthem.
Thanks for watching the Wartburg Football Halftime Show, sponsored by Waverly Subway.
You're an active person. You always want the best from your body. And when an injury slows you down, you turn to the best. At the Waverly Health Center Orthopedic Clinic, Dr. Linda Martin, nurse practitioner Carrie Van E., and the Health Center team offer cutting-edge technology and personal patient-centered care. Knee and hip injuries, muscle strains and tears, no matter what sidelines you. Let our team get you back in the game. Waverly Health Center. We make a difference you can feel.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
As Wartburg alumni, we're proud to support Knights Athletics. And as First National Bank employees, we're here to serve you first.
Welcome back to Night Vision, and again, Tyler Metcalf, Matt Groomer on the call for you guys tonight in this Iowa Conference duel against Senior Night. Those guys just getting honored, and now we are into the starting lineups for these guys, who will wrestle who. And a lot of the times for the Knights, don't really know who's going to go out there. Sometimes have two guys going out. But we see here at 157, Drew Wagenhofer will go up against Ryan Donovan. And then one of our matches to watch, it looks like Steyr won't be going out there. It looks like it's Nick Michael tonight instead of the third-ranked Steyr going up against Farai Sawera. And then Brandon Welter and Ryan Harrington at 174 pounds. These guys have met before. Again, Harrington coming out victorious 3-2. Then at 184, either Devin Peterson or Brennan Schott going up against Ryan Sheldon. 197 pounds. Looks like Gerard Roman going to be going against Donnie Horner, who was previously ranked. And then rounding it off is Ben Nagel versus Nick Ellsbury.
Hey, you look at that up and down. Some surprises, I guess, not necessarily to a lot of the Wartburg fans, so maybe Coe, as to who is going to be wrestling for the Knights tonight. And you see this Wartburg team, and you got to give credit to Coach Keller for the confidence he has in these guys. Able to switch up the roster night in and night out, and you're going to see a lot of these unranked guys for the Knights tonight go up head-to-head against some of these similarly talented Coe guys. Again, the Coe Hawks very similar in talent ability, but it's going to be that much more exciting now.
And underway we are here at Levick Arena. Agnich and Rosenberg. And the two kind of hand fighting here early on. A little bit of tying up going on as well. And again, Agnich, the senior who was just recently honored from Ames, went to Ames High School as well. Going up against Rosenberg, a guy from New Jersey.
We mention it, a lot of the times with Agnich. He's just been a dominant force for this Knights team. Starting off dual meets has really been his forte. You look at him this past weekend, performed very well. He's had some close victories. He's had some really blowout victories too, and you got to give that credit to the senior. You look at him take a quick shot at that right leg, and he's just so enthusiastic in his wrestling ability.
And now Agnich trying to finish the single leg, but can't do so. And Rosenberg gets in on a leg, but nothing doing. Back to the center. That gets an applause from both benches. Good fight. Good job by Rosenberg not allowing a takedown there. But, yeah, like you mentioned, Agnich has just done a great job, getting the ball rolling for the Knights at this 125-pound, he's kind of like I mentioned before, a leadoff in baseball.
Yeah.
He just does a good job at essentially getting on base.
And he's had so much, success and improvement. I think has been the biggest part of his career. Growth. He wrestled under Gilberto Camacho last year for the Knights, #1 man here at 125 for the Knights. And Agnich has just proven himself. He wrestled underneath him. Might get 2 points here, but he's increased his win total just year in and year out.
And a takedown for Agnich. He gets the first takedown of the match and of the night. Now he's working to get the legs in, trying to get control of the wrist while on top. Rosenberg trying to free himself up and get back to his base. Struggling to do so as Agnich, both those legs in between.
Well, a New Jersey kid, you look at Rosenberg, some of his stats on the year. Career record is just sub 500 at 25 and 29, but he's had some really big victories, especially in Iowa Conference matchups, and I think that's going to really propel him tonight. And, you know, how far can he go just being a sophomore against the senior?
Yeah, and he's done a good job battling as they near the out-of-bounds circle, and they'll go back to the center here. But it's just like Agnich for the Knights. He's got to be a good leadoff guy at this 125-pound weight.
And, you know, it goes without saying here, whenever you take on the Knights, heard Jim Miller speak a couple of weeks ago, and he said it's so fun, not necessarily in a dual competition because you know who your opponent's going to be, but really at some of these opens when he said it's so fun when some of the other teams will be warming up and you see a team like Wartburg that's been so historical, you know, speaking since he took over in '91, and when they enter the wrestling room, how some teams will just shudder in fear to look at these. But I think Coe is a team that has learned, you know, to kind of take that in stride. They know how good this Wartburg team is. They know how good they can be, and I think year in and year out, they're one of the few teams in the Iowa Conference that can really, you know, exploit some of these weaknesses that the Knights have.
And you make a great point. As the first period comes to an end, the score 2-1 in favor of Agnich. And it looks like Rosenberg will select to be on bottom to start this second period. Good initial jump, but nothing to it. Good job by Agnich going to that left ankle and keeping him down. Now going right back to getting his legs under him and in control, both those wrists there. Not allowing Rosenberg to get up to his base, trying to do that early on. He's also up to 1 minute and 15 seconds of riding time.
Was just going to point that out, an early advantage, and that's one that really Agnich prides himself on. And he tries to get early, you know, being the leadoff guy, you have to get some momentum swung your way, and an early takedown will do that, certainly. But then if you can continue to control your guy on the mat as he is doing, just look at these, you know, the forearm picks right up there and continuing to push down. A big thing you're going to see this coaching staff yell a lot tonight. Coach Keller already out of his seat, as he normally is 98% of the night, but just always saying continue to drive for these guys, and certainly Agnich right now doing that.
And you mentioned Coach Keller again. Thanks to Luke Benna for that great story that was played earlier on in the broadcast. Coach Keller, you know, crazy guy, always drinks a lot of coffee is what those guys say, but he's always so energetic, and he's someone that you can trust on that sideline, as Agnich does a good job staying on top and keeping him down for the time being, and now escape. The score now 2-2, but again, remember Agnich with almost 2 minutes of riding time.
Yeah, that's a big 1 minute and 54 seconds for the senior, but credit the sophomore there. You know, that's a tough position, being just beaten down for the first minute in the second period. Late takedown in period number 1, for him to escape that and now get some momentum swung his way, that's a big deal. But to go back to your coffee thing, I remember, you know, Jim Miller talking to one of my classes the other day. Coach Keller certainly, tell you what, Tyler, whatever coffee they're drinking, I think I might want a cup or two of that. They're pretty exciting guys to be around.
Yeah, very exciting and very successful too. And both these guys on their feet again as Rosenberg misses on a shot. Haven't seen these guys both up for very much, as Agnich has been in control on top for most of this match. Now 10 seconds remaining in this second period, and it looks like nothing will happen as we go into the third. The two kind of hand fighting. And 2-2, we go into the third.
When you mentioned some coaching staff, how about Oostendorp, John, for the Coe Hawks? Wrestled at the University of Iowa, a big match for them tonight. Hawkeyes against the Golden Gophers up in Minnesota, but you know, he wrestled for the coach Dan Gable, graduated in 1993, so he's a guy that's been around wrestling really his entire career, and that's why he's had a lot of success in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. He's been around success, and he's carried that over to this Coe program and has been successful as a coach now as well.
And speaking of how dominant, you know, Wartburg has been in the Iowa Conference, Oostendorp being a two-time IIAC Coach of the Year, 2009 NWCA National Coach of the Year, leading the Coe Hawks to a second-place finish in 2008. And, you know, as dominant as the Knights have been, we'll talk about Augsburg later in the broadcast. But if you can get top 2 and beat out either Wartburg or Augsburg, another team out of the Minnesota area up in the Twin Cities, I think you're doing some things in the right direction.
Absolutely. Just a little over a minute here. Now as Agnich gets a single leg takedown, then just kind of goes to both of those shin ankle areas and gets him to fall to the ground. Up 5-2. Also now surpassing 2 minutes of riding time. Just 50 seconds remaining. Rosenberg's got to go now if he wants to go, and he gets an escape there and goes charging right back at him.
How about the aggressive play by both these guys? Credit the pick there by the senior. Agnich just going right at him, but really, you know, it's tough after you get almost the wind knocked out of you like that to come back, and Rosenberg not only doing that, but trying to take a pick himself toward the edge of the mat.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's not give up on Rosenberg. As if you saw that game against Buena Vista and Wartburg for the men's basketball game, I believe it was last Saturday, the men's basketball team was down by, I think, 17 at one point and almost came back and won that game. So Rosenberg still about 15 seconds of time to get something going here. Agnich, good sprawl there. And again, a missed shot, not converted. Agnich doing a good job just backing away, knowing he has, you know, a stall call to give. And that's the way this one will end. Good sportsmanship there by Rosenberg and Agnich. As you see, they shake hands before they even have to shake hands. With the extra riding time point, Agnich takes that victory 6-3.
Yeah, add that last point, and that gives the Knights, again, the lead. Looking at the coaching staff for the Coe Hawks, just kind of, you know, a sigh of disgust after that. They know their sophomore so close at that point. You know, and rightfully so. And that's got to be tough, always coming on the road. I think you tell your team, you know, first off and foremost, let's get that first win. Let's try to take it to them, and you don't get that. Now the question is, how do they respond, especially now with Connor Campo being ranked 6th in the nation.
And as you mentioned, Connor Campo, 6th in the nation, out there on the mat up against the freshman, Mike Gusserson.
Two young guys going at it. And Campo really, we you know, again, consistently mentioned kind of his unorthodox wrestling style, if you will. He kind of starts in that low stance, that crouch stance, sometimes almost crawling, and you see him take advantage of Gusserson here. Just gets around those legs so quick, and that's really his game. It's all about speed.
Yeah, good job by him being relentless there, not giving up, and, you know, credit to Gusserson as well, squirming out of there a couple times, but Campo ends up on top. Campo's a guy who I believe was at a 17-match win streak before he lost to Evan Ober a couple weeks ago from Luther. And since then, he's responded very well. He's a guy who's, you know, willing to get in that wrestling room and do what it takes to get back to his winning ways, and he's done just that. Now up 2-0 with 2 minutes remaining in this first.
Well, I think that has to do with that kind of win the next one mentality. You know, Campo, a guy that's not really going to get shaken up by a loss like that, whether he's ranked ahead of a guy or behind. They don't really pay attention a whole lot to the rankings here at Wartburg, and for Coe, I should say that as well. You know, as much as these guys wrestle, they know every time they go out, they have the opportunity to win, and if they make a slip up like that that Luther match, you know, it could go the other way.
And it's just kind of the mindset to have of any athlete, regardless what sport you're in, is that you're going to go out and you're going to compete and you're going to have the opportunity to win. So just having that right mindset, the mental frame, is a huge part. Looking back at that 125-pound matchup, that's Jake Agnich's 19th victory of the season.
Yeah, that's a big one for the senior. Again, a big leader for this squad on senior night. That's it's got to mean a whole lot to the kid from Ames. Talk about mental strength. How about the physical strength of Campo? Just throwing him to the ground that time, and now very close.
Just lifts him up and kind of throws him over, gets him on his back. Not on there long enough to get any back points, I believe anyways. Might have gotten 2. But Gusserson, regardless, a reversal. Now out of bounds. Kind of a sequence of events there. I didn't think that he had gotten back points, but scoreboard shows it's 4-2.
I think the official might have given him 2, but it happened so quickly. I think Gustafson, the freshman, that's a heads-up move. Great awareness by the youngster to quickly scramble out of that in almost a, could end the match scenario, and he spins around.
And now Campo getting close to being, was on his back, getting close to being in too bad of a position here. He does a good job getting back to his belly, and he tries to get back to his base.
And some big wins for both these guys throughout the year as well. We've talked about Campo and how dominant he's been in the Iowa Conference, but Gustafson, it's so tough for a freshman to come into this league and try to perform at any level, but especially in the Iowa Conference.
And now another reversal, this time for Campo. As you can see, that coaching staff telling him to kind of try to pull him back in, stay inside that circle as the first period comes to an end. Score 6-2 in favor of Campo. He did have over a minute of riding time, but Gustafson being on top took some of that away. Campo now at 47 seconds.
Gustafson, native of Antioch, Iowa, and a couple of pins on the year, 11-16 record overall, but Coe, a lot of people don't realize they beat that Wisconsin lacrosse team early on in the year, and that's the same team that narrowly edged out the Knights early on in the year to give them that one loss. That's the only blemish on Wartburg's scorecard this season, but Coe wrestled them very tough, and credit Gustafson had a pin in that one, and that really decided it. You win by 6, Gustafson gets a pin at 5:39 in that match. That's a big contribution at a young age.
Absolutely, and early on, the first 30 seconds of this second period, Campo gets a quick escape. And then a nice takedown by Gustafson, 7-4 the score. And again, he's just kind of ticking away at that riding time, eliminating what Campo had. Looking to add some riding time to his name.
Oh, that's got to be big. And you see Gustafson taking kind of some physical shots here, not really to, impede anything on Campo, but more so just to try to take some drive out of him. A good shove with his right arm kind of into the the upper part of Campo there, and then another arm shot trying to get that left arm knocked loose by Campo. And that's just, a balance war and just trying to take something out of the other guy. So you head into the third period in the last minute here in the second period with some momentum.
And a stalemate call brings him back to the middle, and you mentioned all those shots he's kind of putting on Campo's body. It looks like he's got a heating pad on his right shoulder, so you got to wonder if that's affecting him in a significant way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think the coaching staff really, put a whole lot of emphasis on that right shoulder of Campo. You see him just digging it in there. It doesn't look like it's causing too much discomfort, but I think more so just kind of one of those, internal things, not necessarily a big injury type deal for this young kid.
And you saw a little bit ago, Gustafson couldn't convert on a move to try to get Campo to his back. Instead, it's a reversal for Campo. He's now trying to tick up that riding time for him. 15 seconds remaining in this second period. Doing a good job keeping him on his belly as now Gustafson gets up to his base with little time remaining. Campo does a good job hanging on for the time being. And the Coe bench signals to Mike Gustafson to start on bottom. See if he can get a quick escape here. Nice explosion off the whistle here as Campo does a good job eliminating the first part. And now a reversal for Gustafson. I believe the fourth reversal, each of these guys having 2 to their name here. And I guess 2 points is better than 1, so Gustafson, instead of getting the escape, goes to the reversal. And now looking to let Campo up, trying to do some work on his feet. Quick shot, nothing doing. Good sprawl by Campo. And Campo close to a takedown. And we settle things down for a little bit here. Out of bounds and back to the center.
That's a big answer for Gustafson, especially those reversals right away. It's so tough to get taken down, and then just to have the aptitude physically to come back and try to get a reversal like that. And there he goes again, taking him down. He's going to push him off and try to get some more here. But that's big for the freshman. That's just great wrestling IQ.
Now gets in on a single leg here. A little push-pull action. Campo doing a good job hanging onto those feet. Starting to get a little bit louder here for this 133-pound match as the two just rolling around. And now 2 for Campo as the Knights section explodes in applause.
That's a huge takedown for Campo right there, and with so much going against him. You know, Gustafsson just pushing the envelope right there, and you know, Campo's got to maintain his ground. He knows just because he's gotten, you know, he's lost a few of these position moves, you can't really get down in yourself, and Gustafsson maybe a little bit too aggressive on that last pick.
Yeah, and he may be a little too aggressive, but at the same time does have to have a lot of aggression going to try to get, you know, a takedown. Down 13-8, 36 seconds remaining. And now a caution here. It looks like this one on Campo. Just reacting a little bit before that whistle.
Well, a 5-point lead, you know, it seems insurmountable with about 30 seconds left, but you know, you give a guy an escape like that, Gustafsson more so earning it, and then again, as aggressive as he has been, we've talked about, look for him to take a few shots here late.
And he almost just gets too deep on his shots, which is weird to say and hard to believe, but now they're in a kind of unorthodox position here as Campo probably just trying to hold on here and let this clock run out.
He's holding on to that back shoelace of Gustafsson there, and that's tough to do in a bad situation, then closes out the match with an exclamation point. Great job by both guys.
Nice takedown by Campo. The final score 15-9. No riding time will be in effect here. And Campo, he's a guy who's so successful. You mentioned how good he was to start the year, and not that had a bad streak, but he probably expects more out of himself. Better victory than that, but nonetheless a victory for him.